Room 442 is brought to you by North Star Bets. That's a win.
Well, it's been a busy just under 24 hours here in Toronto and across Canada, as John Herdman is now appointed the new coach of Toronto FC. I'm Sarah Pararia, joined alongside Albert Vartanian, James Sharman. Got a lot of headlines to talk about. Let's check out the board, and we'll jump into all of them. Romelu Lukaku, Chelsea and Roma have agreed on a deal in principle for season-long loan for Belgium International. The Daily Mail has new footage of Luis Rubiales' Women's World Cup final kiss disproves Spain FA claims that Jenny Hermoso lifted. Yep, still in the news. It's the ongoing story that we cannot get away from. Mohamed Salah, this is for James. Liverpool stunned by record-shattering Saudi Arabia offer as star is warned exit will do Klopp dirty. Of course, as mentioned, Canada coach John Herdman leaves men's team for Toronto FC. And The Guardian has João Cancelo to complete loan to move from Manchester City to Barcelona. Lots to talk about today, guys. But of course, we have to talk about John Herdman. James, you two jumped on a bit of a pod last night just talking about the breaking news. How shocking is this? It kind of seems like this one we've known about for a couple weeks now. It's been brewing, maybe not as shocking as some may think.
No, I mean, listen, it's been out there for a little while that the move was going to happen. And as far as the whole greater landscape of Canadian soccer, we shouldn't be that surprised that John Herdman's had enough and has to move to another opportunity, because Canada soccer's an absolute mess right now. They can't schedule games, and if you're a head coach, especially someone as meticulous, John Herdman, for preparation, it must have driven him absolutely crazy. I still think that even if things were fine with Canadian soccer's finances, I still think this job would have really appealed to him. There's a press conference later today. We'll ask him this question. Is it because of Canada soccer that you decided to move now, or was it just the right time and the right job regardless? Because, listen, going to club football was always part of John Herdman's goal. He wanted to do it, and a job like TFC, one of the top clubs in MLS from a size standpoint, forget current situation, obviously, it makes a lot of sense for a man like John Herdman.
Yeah, what's their valuation? $690 million according to Forbes. So, TFC, they're a big club within MLS, but I don't know if he would have stayed, because he did question them after losing in the Nations League, right? Nations League.
Yeah, the Federation.
Yeah. And he said he just didn't think that Canada was taking it serious. Even if they had the money, if they still were going about it the same way, he probably still would have wanted to move.
Oh, I think for sure he wanted to move regardless, and it was coming to the end of that. But I'm saying if they were stable, if everything was glory on the Canadian side, I still think this job would have really appealed to him. And listen, I know there's Copa America next year, and then the World Cup at home in 2026, and that's obviously a big draw. But I just don't know if it's as big a draw as people are making it out to be. These are tournaments, right? There's pressure on tournaments. Canada's a good team, but they're not going to win Copa America. They're not going to win the World Cup, right? It'd be a great experience, but I don't think it's quite the magnetic draw that people might.
Well, I think that's the bigger story here. You have a team that is going to most likely be in Copa America, playing against the likes of Lionel Messi and Neymar. And just in the United States, so traveling-wise, it's not too bad. And then in 2 years, 3 years' time, we have a World Cup in this nation. How bad does that look for Canada soccer, that John Herdman, who has been with Canada soccer since 2011 with the women and then with the men and gone to the World Cups and all of that, and now with the future that, we know that there is around the corner, he's leaving? Like, to me, that's the bigger story here. Going to TSC, we know, they're not in a good form right now, but with the money they have, turnarounds could be quick. But you're leaving Canada soccer knowing that this is the future. This, to me, is like, who wants to come near Canada soccer right now?
No, the timing sucks. The timing's horrible. Well, back to Copa America, no chance they would win that thing.
No chance.
But it's an opportunity to gain valuable experience for a young team, to showcase the team, and for Herdman to implement his system, maybe different systems against top clubs, which he would have faced at the World Cup on home soil. And I just want to say, as a fan, this really sucks, because how hype was everybody, the whole fan base, even us, heading into the most recent World Cup in Qatar. We couldn't even believe it. I remember sitting down watching the first game here with you guys. I think most of us had tears in our eyes when the national anthem was being sung.
Yep.
And now that's completely overshadowed. It's like Canada didn't even go to the World Cup in Qatar. It's like almost didn't happen because of all this huge cloud over Canada soccer and now Herdman leaving. And yes, I'm still excited that, the World Cup is on home soil and we get to go watch games and hopefully cover it and see, some big name players in other countries. But from a Canada perspective, I'm not excited at all because what's going to happen? They still have to appoint a coach. Are they going to get somebody that is as experienced or better than John Herdman? Probably not. The money's probably not there. So you're going to get someone to a lesser
but when
extent.
John Herdman took the job, how experienced was he? He
No,
coached
it's
the
true, but
women's team.
he's elevated their level. They're not at that level anymore.
He's been successful, no
has
doubt
been.
about it. But
Yeah.
when he was first hired, though, with the same group of players, he was
I
coming
agree.
from the women's side. He wasn't
Right.
experienced. So I think there's still people in the game in Canada or wherever they are that can still take this team on. Listen, Josh Cloak wrote about this today in The Athletic, but it's been out there for a while. There's divisions in that room. Right, the men's locker room, this band of brothers we heard a million bajillion times during qualifying, kind of fell apart during the World Cup. There's issues there, right? Maybe you need a new voice, and maybe John Herdman looked at it and thought, okay, World Cup 2026, yeah, but who knows if I'll even still be there in 2026? Had a really poor Nations League final. Gold Cup was mediocre with developing squad. There's divisions and fractures in the room. Not many games coming up. Who knows? Maybe Canada soccer needs to move on from John Herdman as much as John Herdman needs to move on from Canada soccer.
Yeah, this is a huge loss. Huge
Yeah.
loss for Canada.
I don't think you're wrong with that, though. I think you're right in that maybe they do need a new voice. I'm not quite sure. I will say that I think for Canada soccer right now, it's not looking too good.
It's a bad day. Let's just admit it. It's a bad day. There's
It
a lot
is.
of layers to this, but
we've had a lot of bad days in the
Yeah.
last year, haven't we, Jay?
I know. we
And it
really
shouldn't
have.
be this way, though. That's what's so frustrating.
But how would you look back on the John Herdman era? 12 years in
Excellent.
Canadian soccer. It's been transitional, right?
For sure.
We're in such a better place. Well, better place now. It's not on John Herdman. They're not in a better
But
place.
they still
right
are,
now,
though. They really are. They are in a better place
talent's
from when he took
great.
over.
Yes, I think.
You think?
I mean, and it's not on John Herdman.
Yeah.
It's beyond John Herdman. It's the finances of the game in this country.
Right.
Are we better off than, I don't know.
But just speaking of the football, they made the World Cup. They topped CONCACAF. They made runs in certain competitions, right? He's been able to. He was, in that Josh Cloak article you just referenced, he was talking about how Herdman was in these meetings with Nike
Yeah.
to get sponsorship for the club.
John Herdman literally
and
knocked on
free
doors
equipment. Yeah.
and got money into that
No,
program.
but no other national team coach is doing that. At least we don't know that.
So they lose. Canada soccer
That's
loses.
that's why it's such a big loss. There's someone who's willing to do more than just what he does on the pitch for this country.
Pitch is a word. They've lost their greatest pitch man
Ooh.
and salesman,
There you go.
right? Like, he did more than tactics. He brought money into that program. Now, if it's Mauro Biello, if it's, whoever it's going to be, Bobby Smirniotis, Phil Neville, whoever it's going to be,
Oh my
there's
goodness
big shoes to
gracious.
fill there because it's so much more than just a coach. He was almost bigger than the team, in fact. And when that happens, maybe it's time to move on. But yeah, they've lost a very important figure, that's for sure.
I said it yesterday. You agreed with me. Canada's. I think it's an attractive job to have, but it's an incredibly difficult job, especially if you're bringing in an inexperienced coach at the national team level. The transition, I think, from now until the World Cup is going to be a difficult one for whoever takes over.
Oh yeah, well listen, you got Copa and you got a World Cup, but between those massive occasions, what's the camp looking like? How
And
many
you need
camps?
matches, right, Sean?
Yeah, that's
many
the-
matches?
The
Yeah.
question is how many camps? Absolutely.
And that's not on the manager.
No.
That's
No.
got to
No.
go back to the federation to figure that
Yeah.
out.
And also, like you're saying, the divide in the room between the players, like how is that going to look after
that's
you bring
difficult to
that's
deal with.
difficult. Like you
Yeah.
come in as a new manager, you're trying to deal with, dare I say, these big time Charlies.
And it's happening. And it's happening both ways at TFC, at Canada.
Oh,
so
yeah.
either
John
way,
Herdman,
Out
there's
of the
drama.
frying pan
I'd
into
love-
the fire.
That's it. That's
I
what
would
you got
love
to
to be
do.
a fly on the wall the first time he gets into that locker room with all of the Toronto FC players, and just what does
You
he
know what?
say, and what do they say to him, and what are their faces looking
He's got
like?
a long-term contract. He can say whatever the hell he
He
wants.
strikes me as a guy who would have already made the phone call to some of those big names.
Oh, he's
Oh,
prepared.
Right?
yeah,
He
knows everything about
absolutely.
He's
that
not
room
going
right
into
now.
that locker room blind.
No
chance.
Not at all. He's also got guys there that he relies on and loves. Jonathan Osorio.
Right, yeah, Osorio.
In Canada, for example, it's so bad that Richie Laryea is
I
now
was
left
about to
because
say,
John
remember
loved
Richie?
Richie Laryea. And Sam Adekubi, he's gone to Vancouver, could have gone to Toronto if they
Yeah.
managed the money to, right? So there's still he's got some allies in that room. That's for sure right now.
And maybe, a few certain Italianos will actually have some respect for this guy because of everything he's
Do you
done.
think they will?
Well, do you know what? I think the best thing right now is that it's a new face, and it's also someone that has a name for himself in Canada. I think for them right now, because there's been so much turmoil, They're probably just happy that there's someone new and someone with, a bit of a foundation already. That's how I would look at it. Because, like, for them, you're also suffering too, right?
Oh,
like,
yeah.
it's not
Unless
just
their money's made up.
Yeah, I mean, unless Saudi's calling and it's already out the door.
Yeah.
The first phone call I make on John Herdman is to Lorenzo Insigne.
Absolutely.
Or his representation.
You are not.
Are you in or not? Like, let me know, because we'll move you on.
Yeah.
But you must buy into what I'm preaching here, because Insigne can be key to John Herdman's project.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But does he want to be?
Remember,
Yeah.
Bernadeschi
Massive question.
complained about tactics, and now you're getting a tactician who plays attacking football.
That's what
Should
I'm
be
saying.
happy.
Maybe it could be good. It could be. We'll see. There's TFC back in action.
It's all going to be
tomorrow,
good. Let's just pretend like it's all going to be okay.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. We have to talk about, though, unfortunately, this ongoing story with Luis Rubiales, because a video came out from a fan at the pitch in Sydney during the World Cup final that actually shot the interaction between Rubiales and Hermoso. And during the meeting he had with the RFEF on Friday, where he was saying, I'm not gonna quit, basically, he also said that she picked me up, and he didn't. He jumped on. She didn't. Sorry. He jumped on her. This video is proving that. It's going all over the internet. And now FIFA are looking to ban Rubiales from football for 15 years. I mean, I feel like this is the story that we all want to go away for so many reasons, because it's just absolutely horrific, but it's just getting worse and worse and worse. But for him, like, this isn't going to go his way.
No, even the federation's now turning against him, right? The regional presidents are voted to force him to resign, to get out. He can't win this battle. How enormous must your ego be to still be in control, to still think you're in control? You've been banned by FIFA, suspended. It's mind-blowing. It's boring now. It's sad. It's tragic. But just do what's got to be done. Remove this man and move forward, right? But I don't know what more to say about it at this point.
Yeah.
No
really.
update on Mama Rubiales? What's going on?
She's eating.
No.
Praying
She's
the
not-
rosary
she's
at the
having
church?
good old
I
meals
think
there. I'm sure she
I think
is.
his wife
Oh, boy.
may have come out and said something. I think I saw his filing. His wife, maybe it was a sister.
No,
but
sister. It was a sister.
It was a sister.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're all coming out. Like, I'm just thinking, like, you do not want to add more fuel
Dude,
to
I'm
the
telling
fire.
you, this is a Spanish novella. They're going to make... Dude,
Oh,
any
no.
director in Spain, get Bruce Willis out of retirement. He can do Rubiales.
Oh my God.
You bring in Javier Bardem, can be like the king of Spain. Like, there's a whole...
Who's Jenny Hermoso?
Oh, that's a good question.
Penelope Cruz.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
Might be a little bit too old.
How
She's in her 50s
how
now, isn't
dare
she?
you?
I was
I
gonna-
love Penelope Cruz, but she's got to be in her 50s.
Listen to James.
Selma
now.
Find this out.
Hayek. I was going to say throw
So she
Vergara
is.
in there.
She's. I
Make
think
it.
she's 52. I think she's above 50, but she looks fantastic.
So who would be the mom? Sofia Vergara?
No, we're going to.
No.
Remember, it's Hollywood, right? You got to ham it up a little bit.
She's 49. She's my age. That's
Oh.
why she looks so great.
There you
Yeah.
go. Penelope could be Jenny.
Yeah.
Oh,
Who's the
I
mother?
love
That's
it, listen.
Dua
who's the mother
Lipa,
in,
she's Spanish?
Stop.
in my
no.
in my mind, in my brain, the mother from The Sopranos.
Oh,
She should
Carmela.
play- Yeah, I have no idea what Rubiales' mother looks like. But
Yeah.
Carmela could.
Yeah.
No. His Tony's.
Oh, it's
mother.
actual mother.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Oh, yeah, I can see that.
see that,
I
right?
can definitely see that. Yeah.
This is horrific. This is so
Anyway,
bad.
Bruce Willis is definitely Rubiales.
Yeah,
Guaranteed.
Okay,
think
well,
Bruce
it
does mention
prompted
some
us
mentions,
to ask
yeah.
the question: who is the most
Vin
hated
Diesel?
figure in football? Here we had Sharms put this up about 24 hours ago. Luis Rubiales, Gianni Infantino coming in close in second, and then Alexander Chefrin. Everyone forgot about him. Sepp Blatter is a good shout. You also mentioned
I thought. I
James.
guess it's relevant though, right? Because I think
Yeah.
Sepp would still probably win. Maybe
Yeah.
Jack Warner in these parts, but it's kind of recency bias there as well. He's obviously a horrible person, Rubiales, and I think the people got it right.
Yeah.
But up against Sepp, that would be like a Champions League battle of most
Jesus.
Yeah,
disliked
Sepp
people.
would take the cake, I would think.
I don't think
I thought
so
you were keeping it to
because
bald guys, and I realized Sheffield
Wow.
isn't. He's
so
losing
bored.
it a bit.
He will be after this.
Yeah.
I think it's also based on what Rubiales has done and the interaction and stuff
It's
in
fresh.
his past. No, it's not just that. It's not like Gianni Infantino and Sepp Blatter are known to be, these money hungry, lying, scheming men, but they don't have anything that involves sexual assault against them that we know of.
True.
Tone deaf to it though.
Sure.
Right.
But I think once you bring that in, I think that immediately is just completely crossing a whole different line.
Yeah.
Rubiales
you're
had
right.
a run of stuff going on.
That's
Attacking
exactly
architect,
what,
stealing money for sex parties.
No, he's it's-
Allegedly. Just covering
If
the
you
lawyers
go through,
get
if you go
involved.
through his timeline,
There's
it's
a
all
pattern.
alleged,
There's a pattern of
alleged,
behavior.
and he gets
That's
cleared of
scary
everything. This guy.
Yeah. Yeah. Before we jump to Romelu Lukaku, Ellie, if we can bring up the board really quickly, guys. Let's just talk about these two quick. Mohamed Salah, James. That story is still ongoing, and apparently Joao Felix is going to replace him. How does that make you feel?
Well, he wouldn't replace Mo. I'll tell you that much. Listen, Joao Felix still has that potential tag to him. He can do wonderful things, but we haven't seen it for a very long time.
He fits in the false nine system well.
Yeah, but they need a winger to replace
They
Salah,
do, yeah.
right?
Well, they need 30
Gakpo's been
goals.
playing more of a false nine.
Yeah.
But listen, Mo's 31, 32 next summer. I don't want to see Mo go, and he would be doing Klopp dirty to to force a move now because the window closes later this week. It's not long enough to replace him, even with Joao Felix. But if you're offering 130 million pounds for a 31/32-year-old, I think you got to take it. That's crazy money for a guy at that age who's now still really effective, but he's definitely over the hump, so to speak. Right? It's a decline on its way. The pace won't be there forever, I don't think, even though it's Mo. But 130 million pounds, you have to consider that, and it would break my heart. Cannot wait till January. He's away for Africa, Cup of Nations anyway.
Yeah.
In January, can you not wait till then? Saudi Arabia, can you?
Bye. I would say
not
bye. See you later.
You would?
Yeah, sell him. I still think he probably has maybe 2 to 3 more years. I think at his peak. I mean, it's we're different athletes now. These guys can score goals.
No,
we
you're
were
right.
talking
He's
about,
a freak
We were
athlete.
just talking about Harry Kane. Same thing. Like they still got a couple seasons under their
Yeah,
belt.
but Mo's strength is his pace. That's the first thing that goes.
Yeah.
You hit your 30s.
yeah, but he's not really beating guys one-on-one down the touchline anymore.
No, but he's
Right?
still really effective.
He still is. I think. Listen, that much money coming in, sell him, and then figure it out in January.
It's going to be tough.
And hope that Darwin Nunez can continue doing what he just did against Newcastle.
Yeah,
if that's the
that's
case,
true.
then it's like, all right, fine, we're okay.
Well,
Yeah.
last time they cashed in on Coutinho, 140 million.
Oh, my
and
God.
they got Alisson and Virgil van Dijk.
Yeah.
Change the
I
direction of the club
remember that.
completely.
100%.
But listen, you got Gakpo, Jota, Luis Diaz, Darwin Nunez.
It's a great front.
That's
three.
not bad, Charms. Maybe this is one of those transitional seasons if Salah goes, but I think even with that team, they can still push for top 4. Why not?
But where was this deal back in June?
Yeah.
Who knows?
They like to keep us on our
Disruptors,
toes,
right?
you know?
Disruptors.
Yeah.
They're disruptive.
Complete
right?
disruptors.
That's one way to describe them.
Yeah.
Well, from Joao Felix to Joao Cancelo, coming to Barcelona. This guy is, as a Barcelona fan, I think is fantastic.
Dude, you're so excited about this signing.
I think he is the epitome of like a Barcelona player, and especially because of our injuries in the back. Ronald Araujo, we know apparently Marcos Alonso is going. Was it back to Chelsea?
No, he's linked to United, which is very strange.
Yeah, he's just
There's
right
links
there.
of him going. We obviously know Jordi Alba's gone. Alejandro Balde has that position, but in terms of injuries, it just makes so much sense. And in terms of playmaking, that's what Barcelona
We know how
does.
great he can be, but aren't you concerned about what happened last year at Bayern Munich and
No,
City
because
before
it
then?
seems like I don't know, obviously, but it seems like he's more excited to be here, and also it's a loan, so they're not losing any money.
And
because
he's the epitome of the modern day fullback, where
Yeah.
he can play either side and he can tuck
Yeah.
into the midfield, which all managers love to use right now. He could do that perfectly. So it fits Barca's system.
I think
It's
it's
amazing
gonna
how
be
the stocks dropped, though, right? Because he was considered arguably one of the best fullbacks in world football.
Well, that's what we were
falls
talking
out
about.
with
Yeah.
Guardiola, goes to I think, I don't
see
know.
what Pep
I'm
does to
happy
players?
that he's going to stay, though, because I feel like the same thing kind of happened to Sadio Mane. Now he's gone to Saudi Arabia, and I'm like, I think you still had time.
Well, he's
but
banging in goals in Saudi, him and Ronaldo.
Who's watching? Tell me.
Albert Vertanian,
I
apparently.
did
None of
watch
us.
a little bit
Well,
of that game.
Albert
not gonna lie.
Vartanian.
Well, now we can watch it, though, right? It's on the zone.
Great. Have fun. Fill me in on the weekends. I'll be
She'll end
watching
up
real football. All right. Albert Vartanian, though, got this one right. Romelu Lukaku back with Mourinho at Roma. Gentlemen, this guy cannot stop moving around.
Roma Lukaku.
Oh, my God.
Oh, that's good.
Thank you.
Now, is that why he went there, do you think?
Obviously.
Yeah?
Big Rome in Rome. You know what I'm saying?
All right. So, Mourinho obviously had some pull here.
Yeah, well, I think that's why a lot of these players, we were just talking about it, going to Roma.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Dybala, Renato Sanchez, and Lukaku. Also, because if you listen to Mourinho, their injury history makes it easier for them to make these types of signings. But Mourinho loves this guy. I was looking at quotes. This is from last summer,
Okay.
and he was talking about Lukaku. He goes, in his first spell at Chelsea, he was still a kid. At United, he was still developing. At Inter, he became a top man. He became loved, a big love from the supporters, love from teammates, great relations with the coach. He's a big guy, physically so strong, but there is also a kid inside who needs that love, needs that support, needs to feel important. We've talked about this before. Pure confidence striker, Lukaku. But he needs the support of not only the fans, but the manager. He's one of those where you got to put an arm around him.
You got to hug him, yeah.
Yeah,
for
and
sure.
Mourinho gives him that. And listen, up front now, they play a similar system to the way that Inter played. He's most likely going to play alongside Dybala up top. And Roma need goals. Last season, Dybala was their top scorer, which is 12 goals. That can't happen. If he can come in, score what, 15 plus, 20? They're probably hoping for 20 plus.
Is he healthy, though? That's the thing, right?
That's the big issue.
When he's fit and healthy, he's as dominant as any striker in the world.
It's true.
He's also 30 now.
Yeah.
Right? So, again, hitting that end of his career. Did Jose Mourinho have him at Chelsea early
When he was a kid, yeah.
And at United?
He had him at United for a season.
Right.
Yeah.
He knows him.
Yeah,
And
he knows him
obviously, Lukaku knows Mourinho. I like it. Listen, Lukaku's proven to be a goal scorer. He scores close to a goal every 2 games in his career.
So can this be the savior for Roma? Because we saw last year they finished 6th in the Serie A. They didn't win the Coppa Italia. They lost to Sevilla in the Europa League final. Is this what they needed? Is this the guy at the front that can knock in those goals that can actually help them try and win a trophy this season?
I like the idea of him and Tammy Abraham up top.
He's gone until
Tammy's a legend,
possibly
isn't he?
April, though, still.
Yeah.
Tammy. That's why they had to bring in
April
Lukaku. Yeah. They had to move that cruciate ligament injury.
Yeah. Oh, well.
I think,
join
listen,
the
they
club.
need goals, and I still think he can get you 15 to 20 goals, maybe even in the league. Like, you're looking at him last season in Serie A. He scored 10 goals in 25 games, and he was injured off and on, didn't play a full season.
It's a weird year last year.
Weird year, but then you go back to some of his better years with Inter, 2021, 36 matches played, 24 goals, 10 assists.
Yeah.
So if you get somewhere in between there, I would say like 15 goals in the league, it's going to give them a huge boost. And,
Yeah, of course.
And I think this season, based on what I'm reading, it's Champions League or bust for Roma. So I think Mourinho's job's on the line. A couple of these players could be on their way out if they don't make top 4.
Well, let's see what Romelu Lukaku can do, because Roma's first game with Lukaku is this Friday against Milan.
Room 442 is brought to you by North Star Bets. That's a win.